You are consuming more information than any human being in the history of our species. More news, more opinions, more research, more content, more perspectives, more everything. And somehow, despite all of that input, a lot of people feel like they are not growing. Not really. Not in the ways that matter. That is not a coincidence. And the explanation is more interesting than most people expect. We have confused consumption with growth. Growth requires something that consumption does not. It requires processing, integration, the slow, uncomfortable work of taking new information and actually changing how you think, feel, and behave because of it. Consumption is fast, processing is slow, and the internet was built for consumption speed, not processing depth. So we consume faster and faster. More articles, more videos, more podcasts. I'd more content from more creators covering more topics than any single mind can meaningfully integrate. And we call that learning. But information without integration is not growth. It is just noise with better production values. The result is a specific kind of mental stagnation that looks like stimulation from the outside. You are always engaged, always informed, always consuming something new. And yet somehow, the version of you today is not dramatically different from the version of you 6 months ago. Because the input never stopped long enough to become something. Neuroscience has a precise explanation for why this happens. Memory consolidation, the process by which new information becomes part of how you actually think, requires two things that online consumption systematically prevents. The first is sleep. During sleep, your hippocampus replays the day's experiences and transfers the most significant ones into long-term memory. But this process is disrupted by blue light exposure, by the emotional arousal of late-night scrolling, and by the sheer volume of inputs competing for consolidation priority. Most of what you consume online never makes it into long-term memory because it never gets the consolidation window it needs. The second is reflection. Information becomes wisdom, becomes part of how you see the world, only when you spend time with it in the absence of new inputs. Sitting with an idea, turning it over, connecting it to your own experience, noticing where it challenges something you already believed. This process requires stillness, and stillness is the one thing the internet was never designed to provide. When the result is a brain that is extraordinarily well-informed at a surface level, and surprisingly unchanged at the level of genuine belief, genuine perspective, genuine growth. You know more facts. You have not necessarily developed more wisdom. Those are not the same thing. And the gap between them is where a lot of modern anxiety lives. The sense that despite all the information you have consumed, you are not sure who you actually are or what you actually think when the screen goes dark. Here is how to actually grow in an age of infinite information. The first shift is consumption ratios. For every hour you spend consuming content, spend 10 minutes writing what you actually think about it. Not a summary. Your response, your disagreement, your connection between this idea and your own experience. 10 minutes of engaged reflection produces more genuine growth than 3 additional hours of consumption ever will. The second shift is input limits. Choose 3 sources of information you genuinely trust and learn from. Go deep on those. Let the rest go. The anxiety of keeping up with the full information landscape is a tax on your cognitive resources that produces almost no return. Depth with 3 sources beats breadth across 30 every single time when genuine growth is the goal. The third shift is the question. At the end of each day, ask yourself one question. What did I think today that I did not think yesterday? Not what did I learn, not what did I consume. What did I actually think? If you cannot answer, you consumed. You did not grow. The question is not a judgment. It is a navigation tool. Hostet points you toward the kind of engagement that actually changes you over time. Because growth in the age of information is not about getting more in. It is about letting less in and doing more with what remains. Follow for more on mental health and mental growth in the age of AI. And tell me in the comments, what is one idea you consumed recently that actually changed how you think about something? I want to know what genuine growth looks like for people watching this, because I think those moments are rarer and more precious than we admit.